Welcome back. Another round of coronavirus stimulus. Senate Republicans and the White House making a deal on a portion of stimulus spending as the August recess approaches. The two sides agreeing to $105 billion in funding for schools, $25 billion to expand coronavirus testing. Republican aides say a 2-month extension of the unemployment aid expansion is also being considered, though the White House is reportedly pushing back on that. Joining me right now is former White House Chief of Staff and former Director of the Office of Management and Budget, Mick Mulvaney. Mick, it's great to have you this morning. Thanks so much for being here.
Ray, thanks for having me as always.
First off, on the money for schools, Mick, what's your reaction? Is this the right number? A lot of people were saying, well, that's not enough money and we need much more to ensure that our schools are safe. What's your take?
Yeah, it's always hard to say because you don't know what schools need what, and Washington doesn't do a very good job of measuring in the first place. You did run down that list of things that they sort of agreed to overnight last night. It doesn't add up to nearly close to the $1 trillion that we've talked about. So my guess is the numbers may move a good bit between the time of now and when we actually have a bill.
And what about the unemployment benefits, Mick? You've got this $600 a week that obviously has been widely criticized because it ensures that people who are at home will be making more money sitting at home than they would on the job. Why would they come back to help reopen the economy when they're afraid and they're making more money at home? Is this the right call to extend it temporarily?
I think the White House has been right. This is one place that the administration, I think, has been spot on, along with many Republicans in the Senate, saying, look, that unemployment insurance is a good thing. It's one of those things we provide for when times get tough. But this concept of making it more beneficial, more economically beneficial to stay home than to go to work is wrong. So I think you've seen the Trump administration push back correctly on this and say, look, that has to stop. Regardless of what we do in this next round of stimulus, we have to take away the things that actually negatively impact the economy. And the first place they should look and are looking is at those expanded benefits. Short-term extensions, Maria, are something that Washington does all of the time, especially when they're up against a hard deadline like they are right now. Congress goes on vacation, I believe, the end of next week. So there's not much time left, and short-term extensions is usually how they work. But I think the Republicans and the Trump administration here is right to say, look, that's not really necessary. In fact, it can be counterproductive.
What is the cost, in your view, of this shutdown, Mick? I mean, we all want the economy to reopen, and while many are itching to get back to work, adults are worried about schools reopening this fall. We have a new poll that shows 8% of Americans think classrooms should be open as usual, while more than 30% say that there should be no in-person instruction this fall. So this really indicates a serious debate going on whether or not, even though parents are home and they want their kids to go back to school, what, in your view, is the cost of this shutdown on the economy longer term?
Yeah, it's going to be nearly impossible to measure. It will take us years to figure out the dollar amounts. But what I think you're seeing is a realization, or at least an understanding, that there is a cost here. I think one of the things that's lost on a lot of folks as they look over sort of their individual circumstances, they are right to be concerned about their kids. But there's a huge cost here, not just in money. There's a psychological cost. There's a cost in losing a year's worth of education. There's costs to this shutdown that we need to take into consideration as we push to reopen the economy. The economy needs to open. Schools need to open. We just need to do it properly.
Yeah, you're right. And a lot of industries will not make it back. There will be structural change. Some companies in restaurants and in the hotel business won't make it out of this. Real quick as we end.
Yeah, listen, this is a dangerous disease, especially to older folks. But for most ordinary Americans, this is not a huge risk to them. And we need to balance that as we make these decisions on reopening the economy. Folks need to go back to work. We need to go back to school.
Yes, we do.
We need to get things not back to normal, but we need to reopen.
Mick, it's good to see you this morning. Thanks so much. Mick Mulvaney weighing in there.